രാജശ്രീ വെങ്കിട്ടരമണൻ 130 വാക്ക് ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ഷോർട്ട് ആൻഡ് സ്പീഡ് ഡിക്റ്റേഷൻ ആണ് വായിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, സബ്സ്ക്രൈബ് ചെയ്യാത്തവർ ചെയ്യണം. Ladies and gentlemen, before I tell you something about matters of direct concern to us, I shall, as usual, take a little time to refer to one or two subjects of general interest in the economic sphere, for our destinies are affected just as much by economic developments and trends in the country and by government policies as by events in our own backyard. It is easy to be wise after the event, and much could therefore be said, and has in fact been said, about this crisis. But to me, the most surprising thing about it is not so much that it happened at all, but that it was not foreseen at least 2 years ago. Little purpose, however, would be served by adding to the spots of comment and criticism already voiced on subject in the last few months. Our finance minister is now abroad, engaged in delicate discussions with the World Bank and the governments of a number of countries. Our sincere wishes accompany him on his mission, even assuming that all our commitments under the second plan are fully met. The position thereafter will remain a grim one, having used up practically the whole of our foreign reserves accumulated at such sacrifice in the war years, and having in addition drawn heavily upon the future. Any surplus we may be able to earn is likely for many years to be absorbed in servicing of our foreign debt. Unless therefore we can greatly increase our earnings in foreign exchange and also attract long-term foreign investments, we shall not only be unable to finance the foreign component of new development projects, but will also have to exercise such a tight control over current imports that industries depending on important raw materials and components will be hard put to it to be maintained normal operations. The present plight of many steel consuming industries whose allotments of steel have been slashed to a fraction of their requirements shows how stony the road to further industrialization may be in the future. Never before has it been more necessary for us to be practical and realistic in our approach to economic problem, and the process to be willing to shed some of the prejudices and dogmas which have so heavily colored some of our thinking in the past. Any further expansion of our economy thereafter, particularly in the industrial field, will depend mainly on our ability to ensure a continuous flow of fresh capital. Except for such success as we may achieve in bringing into use some of the accumulated and hidden wealth in our country, the amount of fresh savings from within India will clearly not be accounted to finance development of the magnitude and the rate required. It must be supplemented by investments and loans from abroad, which would in any case be required to provide foreign exchange for imports of new capital equipment. If our government and our parliament, while by all means protecting the underprivileged, providing the maximum welfare services within our means, and ensuring equal opportunities for all, were to let it be known that India was a land of opportunity for construction and honest enterprise, where those who risk their savings or their surplus capital could reap a fair reward, we would see such a flow of capital from within and from abroad, and such an upsurge of economic activity as would transform our land and our people's way of life in a few decades. The surest way, on the other hand, to drive Indian capital out of sight and to discourage foreign investment is to continue with those elements in our economic philosophy policies